Morning. Good evening, Chief Justice.
You know,
Good evening.
before I pronounce your surname, I assume Omosoto therefore is Molitsoane. It's not Molitsoane. Am I mistaken?
You are not mistaken, Chief Justice.
Okay. How are you, sir?
I'm all right, Chief Justice. I'm okay.
Yes. Very well. Tell me, where did you obtain your law degrees?
University of Zululand, Chief Justice.
When?
1989.
And what degree did you obtain there?
BProc, Chief Justice.
And what have you been doing?
I did articles in 1992 with Mulifidi Tekua Tennis in Tabanchu. The 17th of August, 1995, I was admitted as an attorney. I then practiced, and later, 2006, 2007, acted as a magistrate. And then I was appointed a magistrate at Edinburgh on the 1st of November 2008. I have been head of the court at Edinburgh, and 2016, I acted at the backlog court for about 3 months in Botshabelo. Then I had 32 weeks in total of acting stints in the High Court, Free State, which ended the last term 30 March 2018, Chief Justice.
Did you enjoy support or not as an acting judge?
The JP, Chief Justice, has a system in place of mentorship. And I honestly enjoyed the support, the mentorship. I must confess, I have not knocked at the door of any judge who'd turn me and say to me he was too busy to assist me. So I enjoyed my stint in the High Court, Free State.
Was there a stage when you kept judgments reserved for too long before you could deliver judgment?
I do not think so. In fact, I have not done so.
What is the longest?
It's about 2 months and a week, I believe, Your Chief Justice.
Have you had problems with part-head matters?
I have not had. In fact, it is only once when I had a part-head matter. It was a criminal trial. Instead of this matter starting on a Monday, it started on a Wednesday simply because the accused, I think on 4 occasions before I came on the scene, would change counsel. So on the Monday when his trial was due to start, he came again with a new counsel, and I refused the remand. Unfortunately, counsel said the date was not arranged with him, did not suit him, and then withdrew. And then I, in fairness to the accused, I then remanded the matter to a Wednesday for him to procure a counsel who would be prepared to proceed with the matter. Indeed, on Wednesday, he came with counsel. They were prepared to proceed, and we were forced to sit only for 3 days when the matter was actually scheduled to sit for about 5 days. And then I finalized the matter during the recess period. I think it sat down for 5 days.
Yes. For how long then did you have to wait before it resumed?
Could have been a few weeks,
Okay.
just in, during the recess, the next recess.
Yes.
It could have been a few weeks, about 4, at the most 5 weeks.
Yes. Very well. JP?
Thank you, Chief Justice. Good afternoon, Mr. Molitsoane.
Good afternoon, JP.
Mr. Molitsoane, according to your CV, you became a professional assistant in 1995. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Meaning that you have been in the legal profession post your admission as an attorney for 23 years.
Indeed so.
And in response to a question by the CJ, you indicated that you acted for 32 weeks at our division.
I did, JP.
Were you exposed to all aspects of the law in terms of case allocation, or are there cases that you have never done? Have you done civil, criminal trials, applications?
I have done them.
Appeals?
I have done civil appeals. I've done criminal appeals. I'm currently seized with a civil matter. And I've done criminal appeals. I've done administrative law matters. I have done them. I have been adequately exposed.
Last question, CJ. Over and above your normal functions as a presiding officer, whether in the magistrate's court or in the division, have you been able to do anything extra? And if so, what is it?
Right from the magistracy, I have always done prison visits. And even in the High Court, I have done a prison visit.
When did that happen?
It was, I think, during February, March,
And
just before my stint ended.
And you submitted a report?
I submitted the report,
Yes.
Judge President.
Thank you, CJ.
Thank you, JP. MEC?
No, I don't have any further questions. Thanks.
Thank you, MEC. Well, since there is nobody with a question, let me just ask this. One of the problems we used to have as the court system was that because inmates did not seem to have easy access to Legal Aid South Africa, it would take up to 5-10 years before applications for leave to appeal were noted. And this has frustrated the system for a long time. When you visited prisons, did you notice that there has been a change to legal advisors or legal aid officials visit prisons regularly so that whoever needs to apply for legal assistance has access to those who can assist?
Chief Justice, it is indeed so that mostly when one speaks to the inmates, they would always tell you about the challenges they face with legal aid. I have always taken it up with the justice centers involved. At times, I've found that it is not actually now, as of now, the problem of the Legal Aid Board itself, but in some instances, it is the practitioner. By way of an illustration, when I was at Fruitvlei prison on my last visit, I received concerns that legal aid people do not go and visit them in prison. But when I went to the authorities, I found that they even keep a register of legal aid personnel. The challenge I had was the the inmate could not tell me who his legal aid practitioner was. But such a matter, I took it up with the JCE in Botshabelo because that was the main point of contention. They spoke about Botshabelo not attending, but there was a register. There was a register which is being kept for the practitioners when they arrive so that the legal aid board can be able to see if its practitioners attend court and do actual visits or not. The other thing which maybe I should bring to your attention, Chief Justice, in another matter, when I attended a prison visit at Grootfontein, I found an inmate who was sentenced to death in 1993 on 3 counts of murder. And then his sentence was commuted in the following, in 2003. But the court there then did not antedate his sentence. And then he came with that plight and say, well, I have been in custody for 10 years now, but now I am deemed to have been sentenced 10 years later. My sense of justice told me that something might not be right. And then, in fairness to him, I then contacted the legal aid board. They even confirmed that those matters they do handle, and they undertook to go and see the inmate, yes, Chief Justice.
One of the complaints that the Department of Correctional Services has against the courts is that awaiting trial inmates would be in their system for as long as 2 years, 3 years, and even 5 years. Is that still the problem that you picked up when you visited Grootfontein?
It is not a problem which I picked up. I specifically asked them about whether they had problems in the implementation of Section 49, and they said no, they did not have. Yes. In fact, just by the way, during my visit, one inmate raised the very issue. But then it became clear to me that he was not actually asking for himself, probably asking for another person. Although he was referring to himself, I then requested the prison authorities to inform me as to what is happening. Then they have a system at Grootfontein that after a certain time, their system already reflects which people have been in custody for a particular time so that they are able to monitor those people who would be in for a period of about 2 years.
Yes. Now, finally and very briefly, while I was still doing prison visits, I noticed and was told by the officials that one of the reasons why there is recidivism, people are released, they come back having committed similar crimes, was because there wasn't much rehabilitation happening in our prisons. Some of the skills transfer projects that used to be embarked upon had been discontinued. Even some of the educational programs, gardening, bricklaying, and a number of other things, you would find maybe they are left with sewing clothes and that's just about all that is left. What is or what was your experience at Grootfontein? Are skills that people could use after being released actually being transferred now? I know there were also some difficulties with the Department of Labor that was apparently supposed to assist in that regard. What was your experience, very briefly?
My experience also in the prison that I do at Betuli is that once people are released, not much is done in terms of rehabilitation.
No, before the release. While
before-
they are still in
yeah,
prison.
whilst they are still in prison. In Grootvlei, another gentleman raised a concern. We were just talking, and he said to me, I'm a carpenter. I'm able to work with my hands. There are no tools here for me to perform my skill. The prison authorities at that stage chipped in and said, we will attend to it, we will assist him.
Yes. Very well. Your excuse, sir. Oh, yes, MEC?
Just one last question. Do you think that after your visit at Grootvlei, do you think that the skills that is been obtained, you know, inside the prison to prepare a person to enter the society, back into the society, do you think, and it's linked to what CJ said, do you think the problem is us preparing, or the system preparing an inmate when he goes out, or he's been prepared, but the problem is that the environment when he gets in outside, that's where the challenges come?
Thank you, MEC. Unfortunately, it's a reality that some employers do not want to employ people with previous convictions. Even if the system prepares them, we also need to change the mindset of society that, look, this person has done his dues. This person has acquired the following skills. This person should be given another chance. I mean, one of the purposes of punishment is rehabilitation. My view is there are people in society who take such people. There are people who do not take such people.
Well, you know, Mr. Molitsoane, I was actually approaching it from a different angle. In the interest of time, I chose not to go as far as the MEC had gone, but very briefly you can comment on this. One of the problems that I picked up in several, and I visited quite a number of them in a number of provinces, was that skills transfer intended not only to rehabilitate an inmate, but to capacitate them for meaningful employment once they are released, had been significantly scaled down. That was the first problem. The second problem was a program designed to facilitate reintegration and employability was not being meaningfully embarked upon. Some correctional facilities, you'll find that there are NGOs that seek to link inmates with potential employers so that they are not shunned in the manner that the MEC alludes to. You prepare potential employers so that people are not seen as criminals. They go out, nobody wants them. They then commit crime so that they can have what to eat if they don't have what to eat. So those are the two legs. The responsibility to prepare you by skilling you, and the responsibility to prepare you and others for reintegration. Very briefly, what is your experience, or did you not go that far in your observations?
I did not go that far, Chief
Okay.
Justice.
All right.
I did not go that far.
No, thank you so much. You're excused, sir. You're excused.
Oh,
thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief Justice. Oh, am I through? Oh, thank you.
Yes. Do you want more?